Hey guys, welcome back to the Bucket Think Tank, and we need to talk about the future state and these current issues of the Bat family. Let's go with that. So, let's be clear. There's a problem here, and we're going to go over these books really and just sort of talk about, you know, what was good about them, and we're going to build up to the problem. So let's start with Robin Eternal, written by Megan Fitzmartin. And Megan Fitzmartin, I think, does a good story with Tim Drake here. So the premise of this is Tim is fighting the good fight on his own, and he's trying to, sort of slowly dismantle the magistrate in a post Bruce Wayne and Batman have been killed world. And he's not doing a good job. And he gives us a sort of rundown of exactly where the Bat family is right now. Nightwing, Dick Grayson is sort of losing it. He's hiding out in Arkham Asylum. Jason has sold out and joined the Magistrates, and apparently no one's seen Damien. And the rest of the Bat family is off somewhere, it's scattered. So in a lot of ways you could view that line from History and Lore of Westeros, the Bat family is broken, and Tim is, waging a war for the pieces. But he's only one guy. There's not much he can do. He doesn't have as much tech as he needs. It's all just not enough. As a matter of fact, when dealing with the Cybers, as they're called, the sort of new militia and the sort of anti-vigilante crusade to, topple the Bat Empire, as the Peacekeepers call it. He almost is killed, but is saved by Stephanie Brown, who comes out of nowhere rocking a cool suit and an eye patch for some reason. And, she says, I saw what was going on, I came to help. And Tim's like, okay, that's great. I'm going to try to not talk about what happened last time we met up, a little mystery, a little intrigue. Also, might bring up some bad memories. And he says, so, I could use your help trying to figure out what these, what they're planning, what new shipment they're bringing in that's going to, like, topple the war with the vigilantes. And Steph's like, nah, sorry, no, I've already lost an eye, so I'm out. So that means he has to go to the customs office and try to figure out there, and he meets his friend Darcy, who was part of the We Are Robin book, apparently, which was a book I didn't bother to read because I don't care that much about Robin to read a book about a bunch of kids who are going, we are Robin, especially when next to none of them were Robin. But anyway, Darcy gives us a rundown of exactly what that is. So there's a shipment of Lazarus resin coming in. What the whole point of that is, if you recall, Lazarus pits and that water, liquid, slime, ooze stuff, depending on how it's animated and drawn, can raise the dead. So apparently, the Magistrate's been pouring money that they're getting from the Gotham occupation. I like we use the word occupation because that's what it is, into more and more of these kind of experiments and enhancements. Supposedly, if you imbue them into the robots, they can undergo sort of organic rejuvenation. So, yeah, the Cybers will keep going. So it's like no point if you break them, they'll just get back together and whatnot. This will definitely help be the final blow the Magistrates need. So Tim's like, okay, we gotta stop this. So we go through. By the way, Darcy's deaf. That's cool, I guess. So anyway, so they aboard the airship of the Magistrates, which is, to me, kind of tells you everything. Very rarely do good guys have airships. Anyway, they go down there. Stephanie shows up like, yeah, I couldn't let you go alone. I didn't know you weren't alone, but whatever, let's go. And as one can imagine, this all goes horribly, horribly wrong. And they get jumped by the Magistrate soldiers on the airship, and then they get to meet the mid-boss of the airship. And in the ensuing fight for the Lazarus resin, Tim is killed, somewhat hilariously by this face, but still dark. And yeah, so Tim's officially died now. Great. Luckily, he fell into a pit of Lazarus resin, so he has a really cool picture of him getting up like, yeah, round two. I like it. Then we cut to the next Batman, once again written by John Ridley. And it's still not worth the price, but this issue takes a sort of look at that feels a bit more like a classic Batman story, from the sort of like City of Crime to Wargame. Just Batman trying to solve crime while the Magistrate's still gunning for him. And it gives us sort of, not really a look into Tim's head the way I think we want. I think we're still trying to figure out when Tim decided to be Batman. Was it the death of Bruce / Batman? Was it just the fact that, his family wasn't really doing anything. We don't quite know. And he's looking at this guy. This dude was worked over. This was personal. This was savage. The security footage points it out. But also breathing down his neck is, again, the magistrates who are looking for him. They're his number one, like, he is their number one priority. And it sort of then echoes a bit more of Batman Year One, and that's a good thing to echo. And he gets injured, and he's still trying to get his way through. Like, he's still not quite there yet. And he's able to escape with the help of his Oracle, his version of Oracle, named Vol. I guess she's Russian. Whatever. So then we cut to the mayor's office with Tim's mom, Tanya, talking about the problem with the shoot-on-sight law that the mayor's put in. She doesn't have a problem with vigilantes being shot on sight. Make no mistake, she totally is up for vigilantes being shot on sight. But the problem is, the law is so poorly made, it doesn't take into account the challenges made to it. Because as she points out, the problem is legally. Alright, there are two problems here. One is a person's right to make a citizen's arrest when the presence of a felony is established law, and the Justice Department requires police officers to engage using equal or lesser force. A beat cop using an ordinary service pistol against Joker Punchline, that's fine, but the magistrate, a private militarized assault force using bullets tipped with spent uranium, shotguns that fire dragon's breath, killer drones, there's nothing equal or lesser about any of that. The mayor points out, like, the city contracts its ordinance through Foxtech. If you have a problem with the firepower, you should talk to your husband. So this is a question. Is Lucius crazy? Is he crazy? And she points out, like, we've had conversations, like, but, maybe you should have a few more. Have you ever tried to stop Batman with an ordinary gun? And this is where we get it. Tanya is mad at Batman, and she's like, I would love to have a chance to shoot Batman. I'm like, whoa. Whoa. And you sort of get it, what it's done to Lucius. Tamara is in a coma. Yeah, okay. And that's really where I think the heart of the story is his family trying to move on from what's happened. The problem is, you have to be invested enough in this temporary Batman, and this sort of weird idea that, I don't know, like, there's a definite effort from DC, from Detective Comics and Joker War, to sort of set the stage here, and maybe it doesn't quite land right. Maybe I have to revisit the whole thing. Whatever. We see that even the magistrate themselves aren't entirely welcomed by even the GCPD. As the GCPD points out, are you going to help us investigate this murder? And if I'm like, no, because all our higher up cares about is, Batman. So unless this leads to Batman, we don't care. And that is just so messed up. Like, there's a dead person in the street here, and they don't care. So, yeah, Batman tracks down the people that killed him, and it turns out the dude may have been a pedo. And you know what? This becomes a sort of like a gray area, because they recount, like, yeah, this dude stalked and preyed on our daughter, and he walked away, he got away with it, and in Batman's mind, this Batman is like, okay, even if he did do it, you still shouldn't have killed him. This is sort of the weird sort of question as to where the justice system fails and when it just does the best it can. I don't know, because the whole point of it is, did this case meet the burden of proof necessary to sway the judge or the jury? Who knows? The question, because it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Because why do I know it doesn't matter? Because before we can go further, the magistrates show up like, yeah, we're here to arrest Batman, and I'm willing to bet those two people are going to be shot, but we won't know because that's how the comic ends. So next comes Nightwing, written by Andrew Constant, and this reminds me very much of the Arkham City trailer, when Batman is fighting one of the Cobra, what was it, Cobra operatives? Tiger Guards, the Tiger Guards. And they find out about Hugo Strange, and that was cool. It was all a trap. And what I liked about this is that it is a trap. The magistrate is trying to get Nightwing. As the Peacekeeper 1 points out, Nightwing is Batman's right hand, his strong right hand. After Batman comes Nightwing. We've already killed Batman. So now we go after his second command, the Bat Empire. And this trap is kind of elaborate. You know, there's a decoy, there's a fake mugging going on, or at least a fake attack by a robot. Turns out the culprit that was attacked, like, no, they're cybermen assassins, and that was all a ploy to get him sniped. Nightwing stops the sniper and breaks the dude's femur, and it turns out this was all just done to put a tracer on. And so it turns out, as we found out from Tim, Nightwing is hiding out in Arkham Asylum, which does not look as dilapidated as possible, and he's not insane, he's leading a resistance, which includes people like Batgirl, Huntress, Two-Face, Man-Bat. I'm loving this team. I'm loving it. And Barbara brings up that, you know, there's been talk about a new Batman going on, and Nightwing's like, it's not a Batman. There'll only ever be one. But I've heard. He'll look into it later. But, you know, I'm going to go shower. And he's pretty much trying to, you know, get his head in the right spot. Because he's still not over the death of Bruce. Like, you know, that was his dad. For all intents and purposes. And then he's met by the new Batman. And, you know, Dick's like, alright. Electrocutes him. And, yeah, ties him down. Like, okay, so I didn't check the cowl, you know. Respect and privacy is the thing. And yeah, you're Batman. Fine. Whatever. So what you want? He wants Nightwing's help with the case. And before they can go into the finer details, the magistrate has reached the asylum and are about to breach it. Nightwing's like, fine, let's go. Let's go. And that's how the comic ends. So what I think the premise of all three of these books is how Gotham City is dealing with the death of Batman. And also the death of Bruce Wayne, because Bruce Wayne has been killed. So it would be a real shame if there was a comic that revealed that not only is Bruce Wayne alive, but he's in Gotham City. What was that, Mariko Tamaki? What was that? Oh. What it turns out, Bruce is alive and in Gotham City? Now, to be fair to Mariko Tamaki, who has worked up a lot of bad blood with her I'm Not Starfire graphic novel, or a young YA novel, I don't care. This issue is actually pretty good. So this story is about, you know, Bruce dealing with the fact that, hey, I'm publicly dead, and I have no money, and I have very few gadgets. The world saw me die. What do I do now? And we see just what he's going through, because remember, after the events of Joker War, he doesn't have access to the Wayne family fortune. That's in Lucius Fox's hands, and Lucius Fox is apparently crazy. You know, there's an anti-vigilante movement in Gotham City going on here, led by the mayor of all people. Like, the mayor legit won on anti-vigilante rhetoric, so yeah, this is bad. You know, there's a private security force here designed to hunt him down. He's not wanted. Actually, he's wanted because he's not wanted. And even more so, they're using the death of Bruce Wayne as sort of like, we're like, this is the loss of Gotham's favorite son, and they're using his technology to do it too, to further the magistrate. And Bruce's like, I can't deal. I'm dead. What do I do? What do I do? Batman is dead. What do I do? And as he runs off, he sees these people getting mugged, and this is what really tells us who Bruce Wayne is. He's the dude that's like, no, this doesn't happen. So he intervenes. He stops it, and then the magistrates show up with their drones, and turns out, yeah, Bruce sort of acts like, you know, who is he? Like, he's the ghost of what he was, and he points out, well, you know, some ghosts don't even know they're dead. So he just, you know, reveals he's got the cowl and the coat and possibly a cape and the boots. Like, yeah, all that was just a distraction, or at least, like, you know, he never took off the coat, the uniform. He's like, yeah, screw it, let's go. And he's still injured. He's still struggling to get through it. Even Peacekeeper 01, who's the head magistrate, says like, yeah, Batman's dead. We're good. And, you know, Bruce talks about how, like, you know, it's all done. You know, Bruce Wayne is dead. There's no one left to stand over the graves. Nothing left of them but mistakes. As the city those mistakes help build. Wayne Enterprises, Batman, his technology, his justice, it helped build the magistrate. And he's like, that means I know how to break it. Whenever I am now, I've got nothing but time to fix this mess. Funeral's over. And this is a great issue, but in my mind, this kind of devalues everything going on here. And it's not like, say, before when Batman was quote-unquote dead, was actually stuck in the past, and then slowly traveling through time. For everyone else, Bruce was dead. He was gone. and we saw the entire family dealing with it. Here, instead of being like, in another time zone, in another period of time, in another country, he's still in Gotham City. Just, everyone thinks he's dead. So has no one found him yet? I don't get this. I don't get this. Otherwise, though, this has all been fun. This has all been decent. Mariko Tamaki, I'm surprised. This was good. Was a bit surprised about the amount of French fries in this episode. Anyway, with that in mind, this brings the video to close here. If you're new to the Bug Think Tank, feel free to like, comment, share, subscribe. Check out some other videos, and I'll catch you all later. This is the Bug Think Tank signing off. Thanks for watching. As always, may your fandom serve you well.